All right, so here we are with a distinguished panel that I'm kind of honored to be part of, to get to be in conversation with everybody here about AI. And actually, would you guys mind, saying your name, your position, your company, how long you've been working with the company, and just get to know you guys a little bit. James, you want to start off?
Sure. James Allred. I am the COO and CFO for ZZ Takeoff. Been here about a month, um, but I have a lot of experience in the past working at PlanSwift. So my brother Heber, I'll let him introduce himself, but
Yep.
worked with him at PlanSwift. So
Yep. So I'm Heber Allred, CEO and founder of ZZ Takeoff, and also the original founder of PlanSwift.
Kyle?
I'm Darren Thomas. I was with PlanSwift for 9 years. I'm helping out in sales right now. I don't really have a title, um, but I was VP of sales over at PlanSwift when Textura bought PlanSwift.
Wow.
I'm Kyle Bondi, senior estimator with Hensel Phelps. We built kind of the most complex buildings in the nation. I'm kind of quick story about me. When I was on the prod job site, one of the first things we did was hyperlink and Bluebeam RFIs. I was like, awesome. And we were using Adobe Acrobat. So that's how old I am. Bluebeam wasn't even around back in the day. So
I'm Carl Sorensen. I'm with Taylor Morrison Homes. We're a large production home builder. I'm the national estimating manager. Been there about 9 years now.
Fantastic. Everybody is introduced, Darren?
I did a little introduction, Derek.
All right, good. All right. I see that Derek's left us.
Derek's here.
I was waiting for Stuart to go because I hadn't met Stuart before, so I thought he was going to go
Hey,
first.
Derek. Nice to meet everyone. Todd, good to speak with you again. My name is
Hey.
Stuart with Conside AI. We're one of the new coming pre-construction softwares here that's experimenting with AI and its application specifically within the pre-construction sector of construction. So estimating has definitely been linear with the technology that's existed, and there's been a massive breakthrough. So it's time to figure out how does AI work across all niche categories of the major industries. I chose my background today because the question is, what technology is going to support the future of construction? What technology is going to support tomorrow's buildings? And if we can really nail AI as an industry together, I think it's going to generate so much lift and just transform the landscape of humanity. So I'm excited to be on the forefront with everyone on this panel and explore that together.
Nice, nice. Fantastic. So yeah, it looks like we have like 6 people showing up, and I imagine we have more in our podcast. So if I skip anybody, be sure and just kind of check in there, okay?
we
Yeah,
got
I'm
Derek.
Derek.
Absolutely.
I'm Derek Del Quadro. I got to chime in now.
Okay.
I'm Derek Del Quadro. I started with PlanSwift back in like 2009, maybe, and then started with ZZ Takeoff close to a year ago. And I was a huge AI fan. I really like innovation and technology, and I've been playing with it a lot lately. And yeah, it's interesting. I'm definitely interested to hear what you guys have to say about it. My experience has been kind of mixed on what my expectations were and my enthusiasm, and where the reality is it's a little, yeah. I was just looking for some more feedback. Hopefully you guys have had a better experience than I have with it. But
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely have a lot of feedback coming from this crowd. This is a very talented group of people we got here, and thank you. One of the things that kind of started this for me was I ran it. First of all, I had heard some rumors about AI and takeoff, and people weren't quite happy. And it seemed like, and I think it might have been Stuart that said, "Hey, sometimes people are overselling what AI can really do in their software to get the sales." This was a few months back. So I ran a video asking for advice about this takeoff person that I had. I ran it on YouTube and I said, hey, I've got this takeoff person. She is just not quite cutting the mustard. She said she could do takeoff. She's expensive, she's making mistakes. I have to check her work. And I went through that whole thing and I said, I need your advice. What would you do? And so I got emails, texts, phone calls, and all kinds of stuff about this. And it was absolutely everybody said, hey, you should fire her. If she can't do what she says she can do, you got to fire her. And I had a pretty good laugh until my daughter called because she had done takeoffs for me in the past. And she actually thought I was going to fire her. So, anyways, so I told everybody it was about AI and that we're going to have a podcast about this, about how is AI working now and what the future has for it. And are we overselling it right now? I mean, it's obviously going to get better, but are we overselling it? And I would like to hear your guys' response. Ah,
Who should we go? Who should go first?
And I'm going to pick up that ground ball. I think that was hit to me. I feel like I have something I want to say about that,
yeah, do.
and it's great to get Plan Swift people on this because I mean you guys dominated definitely the last era of estimating software. So I mean, is there a passing of the torch happening? Is that what we want to say is going on here, or is it kind of smoke and mirrors? So AI, if you pick up any newspaper and look at headlines, I mean, I circled with my red pen yesterday. AI is coming for your jobs. Wall Street Journal ran an article talking about this new Excel AI platform that said analysts on Wall Street be afraid. I mean, I'm golfing with my buddies and they're finance guys and they're like Hebia, if you've heard of Hebia AI, they're shaking their boots. So it's finding its way. It's very pervasive. Entrepreneurs are applying it in their respective industries, but it's very curious because I think we're one of the companies on the forefront, the newcomers really trying to figure out how to apply AI within construction. The problem with construction is if, as you know, if you make a small error, you put a seven instead of a six, or the comma in the wrong place, or you miss a line item, that could be $1 million change order on the other end, and that can really shutter the doors and render your business obsolete. So that really boils AI down to one thing: is it accurate? Can we
Yeah.
really depend on AI during our estimating process? And as you know, estimating is the engine of the construction company. You get it wrong there, and it's done. You're not in business. So the conversation I'd like to really have today with everyone is, what does it take to get AI to a point of trust and reliability for big companies like Kyle Bond? He comes from, one of the bigger GCs in the world, and they can't be adopting technology that they can't rely on, they can't trust and depend. So my opinion, Todd, on this is it's early stages. Marketing software using AI, easy, right? Ask AI to write you a poem, easy. There's easy consumer applications of AI that have low stakes. But it's going to take more time. It's going to take a lot more time. There's AI hype with the headlines. Some executives and VPs at their companies are reading these headlines and thinking, they got fear. We work with a lot of people, and there's some fear element to it. If we don't hop on the train, we're going to get left behind. But in reality, I think every company needs to have its own strategy and needs to be partnering with groups and phasing the rollout and taking it one step at a time to really experiment and explore with the reliability of AI as it fits their specific business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll add on to that. Basically, I think it's pretty well known that AI can't be trusted 100%. And depending on the type of thing, like you said, Stuart, depending on the type of thing that you ask it, you'll have a different confidence level in what you get a response for. So the way I look at it is, given that you can't trust it 100%, it is very critical that we use it for that how we use it, we keep that in mind. Like if we want to be using it for things that are asymmetric in their risk and the reward. So if I use AI to rename pages in a project, if it makes a mistake, it costs very little. It's just some page names. If it's even pretty close to accurate, it can save hours of time for a large project. So I think the best way to derive a lot of value from AI in the current stage is to be very selective in what we use it for. And like if you use it for something like, okay, feed it a set of plans and give me what my bid should be, it will tell you very confidently the incorrect numbers. So I think that this current stage is really about being selective with what we use it for and really finding one of the things I like to think of is just having it help us find insights. We're planning to launch something called ZZ Takeoff Insights at some point. It could try to find something in the plans. It could scan through and say, hey, it looks like you maybe double counted this thing. And if you really intended to double count it, you can say, okay, no problem. It didn't cost you much time to just confirm that. But if you accidentally double counted it, the amount of money it saved you could be thousands and thousands of dollars. So honing in on those types of things first in the current stage, I think is the correct way to get the best value. And then as it expands, obviously, it's going to be extremely intelligent and will have much more capabilities than now.
And I gotta jump in with what Stuart said. Like trust, that's so hard to freaking do. The people are the hardest thing to get to use any tool, right? In general, AI or whatever it is. But like a quick, like how do you get people to use it? Well, you gotta just try. Like a quick story. Like a year ago, I was sitting in my basement. Obviously, I was probably wearing spandex because of course I was. It was 7 o'clock. It was.
Tell everybody you're a bicyclist, okay?
Yeah, but it was about a year ago, sitting in my basement, 7 o'clock at night. I had Creo on my left screen. Sorry, they're a great tool, but Edify on my right screen, and I hit a freaking button, and I got the gross script with the areas to take off. So I'm like, wow, this actually kind of worked, and I copy pasted it over to Edify, and I'm just thinking to myself, this web workflow is like the future. This is how we get people in the tool, and they can feel it, touch it, see it, and it click here, click there, and it works. I mean that let the estimators try it, and hey, see what happens.
Yeah, having the web-based platform is definitely it's crazy to think that that's like remarkable, because if you've ever been in a different industry, like technology exists on the web. So it's fascinating that this is a marquee jump to go from desktop-based .NET applications to online-based platforms. But trust is definitely critical, and we learned this firsthand. We, I think, try to bite off a bit more we can chew. Background on Consite, we focus on bid leveling side of the pre-construction workflow. Like we're just all in on creating a software stack that helps you pick the right vendor, right? So it'll just analyze all 200, 300 your bids on hard bid projects, and try to reduce risk for you by helping you do your scope sheets and bid evaluation forms. And we were trying to do a lot at the beginning, and realized, wow, it's just like you said, niche down, really get the scope tight, create proprietary solutions. That's what we're working on right now, is really creating proprietary autocomplete solution that takes bid reading and PDF parsing to the next level. And we decided to kind of delay the rest of the items on a roadmap, because you got to get one thing right before you go on to the next. Just generally applying a thin coat of AI across a lot of solutions is just not going to result in high ROI and high trust. So I think you really hit it on the head when you said that. I think every company needs to find their niche, needs to just go down, drill down in it before experimenting with what they can do next.
Don't oversell it. Don't oversell it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel like if I don't jump on the AI train more and more, I'm going to be left behind. Like you talk about people in the workforce worried about losing their jobs. I do real estate as a side hustle. And I mean, we teach courses on AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, all those. And it's really helped. I mean, it really has helped. I mean, for an example, I can write a listing description in 30 seconds now, whereas before I was up all night. So as I'm learning it more and more, I probably know the least about it than anyone on this call. But I find as I'm learning it more and more, it has helped me to be more productive.
Hey, Carl, have you guys tried any AI software in your business?
I not in the estimating realm, no. I know that we are trying. We had an all-employee call just last week that was one of the things that our CEO really wants us to stay at the forefront of is AI in construction. But estimating, other than trying to find the name on a page and a page description of what that drawing is, that's about as deep as we've dived into it.
Yeah, I think all estimators have their dream AI, where you can go in there and look at a detail and automatically populate some kind of a takeoff property with all the parts and pieces. And I imagine that's down the road, but it does hold. I mean, the future of AI in estimating is going to be fantastic. It will streamline. You could bid more, and I think companies that don't jump into that pool and start swimming in there when it starts happening are going to be the companies that are going to be really left behind in estimating and booking jobs. Yeah,
There's definitely a lot of pressure on people, especially tech companies like us, to produce an AI solution if you guys go to Google right now and you search, can AI do a blueprint, take off on a blueprint? Like just search it real quick. The answer is overwhelmingly yes, but I have been unable to find any software that can do this. Like I try it. I love AI. I love it. I play with it on the side, left and right. It's a big hobby of mine. I'm hopeful for it. I'm not afraid of it replacing my position at all. Like anything that can make an estimator more efficient at their job is what we're all about. But yeah, I've looked all over for these products that can do a takeoff, and I haven't found one. I found a lot of information. I don't know who's misleading these search algorithms, if it's AI doing it and it's already taken over the industry or what, but there's a lot of misleading information out there right now. And it seems to be coming from AI, whatever is feeding AI, because it's the AI response that, yeah, you can do a takeoff, no problem. It'll do a full takeoff right now. It's alarming. And I'm like, really? So I feed it some plans, and I mean, it's hallucinating. This thing's hallucinating, and it's overly confident. It's really bizarre how bad it's been. And I don't mean to be negative about it at all, because I really want to embrace the future. And if this can simplify things for estimators, and they can cook out more jobs, and that's great. Let's take the better elements of it and apply them in ZZ. But where the hallucinations are coming from, it's straight up making up information.
Well, and let's say you could even take a set of plans and feed the whole thing into AI, and it could give you back the perfect numbers. There's still a lot of context that estimator needs in their head to help with the project and for the project manager, et cetera. Like, it's not like you can just have this black box that can just spit out numbers and you're happy with the data. Like that, it needs to be more of an assistant to the estimator. The estimator's got to still stay in control of that bid. And he's got a lot of information to soak in. Like, let's say there's some product that gets shipped out to the job site. It's not like right now they can call back to the office and say, oh, I got some extra beams here. What are those for? Or I've got this, or I've got that. The estimator can answer those questions if he's the one that put it together, but there's no interface for that to the AI right now. So there's a lot of context that estimator's got to have in his head. So reducing redundant tasks and that kind of thing seems like a high priority, and more just acting as an assistant at first.
Well, I got to piggyback off that in the positive light, more positive light too. So like I'll be honest, I'm like a little dyslexic, so I use a lot of voice to text, and it's helped me so much. I can write clear emails to go to town. And the moment I realized I can drag and drop clarifications and assumptions, it's a document us estimators have to write. It's painful. And you do it as a team piece, but you could drop that into ChatGPT and bam, it spits out a nice, well-written piece where it's like it's all written well from one person, right? The other thing that's worth hitting on is it gets really exciting in estimating, especially talking negotiated work. So if you think of the world we got now, we got hard bid and GMP, and it's about quick comparisons. Well, the hard bid is about quick comparisons. The GMP is more iteration, so it's a totally different world. So a few years ago, we actually made the call to start mining all that data in bid tabs, because it's kind of where both those worlds collide, the hard bid and GMP meet. And now we literally have a tool that you hit an archive button, boom, it sends it to the blob. We call it the blob, and it lands in a SQL database, and we can queue up all that data, factor for time and location, and people have that at the tip of their fingers. It's like we're using AI, and it's actually useful for estimators like right now, and I'm so excited we're doing that. But now we're trying to actually move that back a little bit. So bid tabs are kind of further down the line, right? We want to bring it even back, like takeoffs, even further than takeoff is estimate. Estimates where all that work starts. Like you're doing predictive quantities. You don't have takeoff drawings yet, because that's where the industry's at right now. We're like 70, 80% negotiated work where we're doing this 10 times to finally get a project built. So we're starting to focus on the estimate now that web tools are coming to fruition. And man, it's just going to be awesome. We're going to layer AI on that. Holy cow!
Yeah.
The future's exciting.
Yeah.
Are you
Kyle,
I'm sorry, are you researching your data that you're using to create these new estimates, and as you design build, if you would, are you pulling it from outside source?
Well, it's our data from the bid
Yeah.
tabs. You can look at unit pricing, but we're not to the point yet where we're making estimates off off stuff yet.
Okay.
The magic button that everybody says they're there, but we're not.
You got to find that button. Okay. Sorry.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, Kyle, I think the point everyone wants to make on this call is we opened up with a word of caution. I think we're the counter voice because the information industry leaders are ingesting right now around AI is if you're not on the train, you're left behind. And it's good to have a counterbalance here and to really explain thoroughly that there are pros and cons. And it's in the early stages of the baseball game. I mean, the internet really didn't take hold. It took until 2012 until most mainstream internet applications actually delivered like serious value in consumers' daily lives. So it's going to take a little bit of time. Maybe the difference between when it's actually becoming functional might be a bit shorter. But Steve Jobs used the analogy of technology as a bicycle, putting a human on a bicycle, right? And I do believe, when done properly and correctly, that AI, instead of a bicycle, you're putting a human on a rocket ship. And again, the word I said is human on a rocket ship, right? I didn't say a rocket ship powered by AI. It's going to definitely be a human orchestrated process for the foreseeable future. Certainly, I think everyone on this call agrees with that. So despite what the tabloids say about your job is eradicated, it's like more important than ever to have knowledgeable humans looking through the data and refining everything. But to Kyle's point, the bid tabs, which is our sandbox, it's a treasure trove of data. And some companies that have been around for 30, 40 years have thousands, tens of thousands of bid tabs worth of data that's just sitting there collecting dust. We're obviously on the deep tech side of this, data and analytics, and we're working with partners, big GCs, multi-billion-dollar ARR GCs across the US right now to explore how do we connect Connie, which is Consight's AI assistant, to derive all those insights from the bid tabs. And then, like Kyle said, with Edify, which is probably right now the most powerful cost database engine, I would say, on the market. How do you pull and extract all that data and centralize it into a cost database that makes it really easy to access without having to dig through the S drive or the P drive to find a past estimate? That is the future. And I mean, what's great about estimators and pre-construction is, when we launched Consight, hundreds of people reached out to us to give us their 2 cents. I mean, they wanted to mold this. They wanted to be a part of this. There's so much excitement in the air. I've not experienced that in any other industry I've built in. And, they're offering, to shape the future with us. And so I think the community is still very ripe and very eager for real solutions, not puff pieces and tabloid articles. They really want to invest time in working with groups that are going to do it right.
Nice.
One thing I will say about AI and all the people who have a fear, AI will take my job. I'll be honest, in the last 2 or 3 years, I've had multiple panic attacks, whatever you want to call it. AI is just going to do everything I do. I've been, coding and developing software for many, many years. What am I going to do really? Like, what's my next move? And I saw a post from someone, I'm sure it's this general idea has been portrayed by many people in different ways. But AI is not really going to take the job of everyone. It's going to help us to do more. Each of us can do more. Me as a software developer, if I have AI on my side, if I can do as much code or develop as much software as 5 developers or 10 developers in the long run, they say the phrase some people have said is AI is not going to take your job, but someone else who is using AI will. And I think that's kind of a little better approach. And I've kind of reconciled my mind that, we definitely want to be on the leading edge of AI so that we don't get left behind. But the fear of, being completely replaced has diminished. Obviously, the industry is going to change. We all have to adapt. And it's adapting probably at a faster pace now than in many times, many revolutions in the past. So we have to be on the ball, but I think if we're just embracing it and growing with it, I think we'll be just fine.
Yeah, I have to chime in again. You said something that our board has this great vision for 2037. Hensel Phelps, 100 years. They've told this. I've heard it so many times. They said the pace of change will never be this slow, guys. So get used to change.
That's true.
And I love that. I love that vision that they put out there. because people
Derek,
are
I
the
wanted to
hardest part.
absolutely. Derek, I wanted to double click on something you said like 5 minutes ago. I think a general purpose AI, like what you're saying, why have I not found a piece of technology using AI that can accurately read plans? And I think the technical explanation for that is again, it's all just training data. So when these models are created, they're really created based off of publicly available and accessible information. Big problem here, as everyone in this room knows, is construction companies are pretty guarded and protective of their data. So not a lot of that made its way into the training models. So specifically blueprints and construction documents, like that's like the biggest challenge I think facing AI in pre-construction right now is who's going to be able to unlock plan reading. That's massive. That is so big, and if you can do it reliably, that's going to just like transform this entire sector. What do we need to achieve that though? We need more software engineers building what are called evals. And evals basically create like almost like a scorecard, right? So AI can actually learn and train and get better on its inputs and outputs. But we just don't have those evals yet. No one's in the deep technical side creating these evals. Like every other industry, big brand name industries maybe have engineers working on these problems, but I haven't quite seen that level of technical expertise coming into the construction sector. So for the time being, Derek, I just think it's like companies using general purpose AI models, maybe with like a little prompt engineering, and
Yeah.
and that's where the shortcoming really is.
The real shortcoming is on why is it giving inaccurate quantities? That's what is confusing me, because there have been plan rooms and digital plans for 20 years now, and there are companies like Toggle that's doing a pretty good job with implementing AI. It's not. It seems oversold, a little bit overpromised, but where are I call them hallucinations, like where are the inaccurate numbers coming from? Why is it telling me that I need 2 studs on a whole job, or I need 300 feet of backfill when there's no backfill required? I'm not understanding. Like, we're all about embracing change. We are using AI in ZZ. We use it to rename the pages and scale the pages and name the items, and it's some of my favorite features in there. It's fantastic. It makes us way more productive for our customers. But where is it getting these inaccurate numbers from? That's the concern to me. Is how do you embrace something fully that's giving inaccurate quantities that are just not? If you drop a set of plans into ChatGPT and ask it to do a takeoff, it comes back with a very confident answer. And at first I was like, whoa, this is awesome. It'll create a schedule for you by phase and everything. It's quite remarkable. It's overpromising though. When you start looking into the details, like, wait a second, where's it getting these quantities from? Where's it getting this cubic yards of concrete for the footing? And it's just making it up. That's why I'm concerned. Like, where is that coming from? How is that being sold, and who's pushing it? Because I mean, it's there's a way to do this right, and I think Haber's taken the right approach by just selectively allowing. Right, what we do is allow the estimators to feed the AI. We don't just jam the whole thing down its throat and say, eat this whole set of plans, do a takeoff on me by the time I get back from lunch. It's like the estimator has to select what goes in there, and then they verify it. So it seems like we're doing a really good job of implementing AI responsibly here, you know what I mean, without being reckless or overselling it. I think we're taking the right approach here, but has a lot of promise, and I'm excited for it. I use Base 44, I use ChatGPT, I use Claude, I use all of them on the sides, and you can do some things with ZZ that are pretty neat. You can copy to the clipboard, and then you can send that to ChatGPT or Base 44 and have it kick out a material list, and then import it back into ZZ, and it does pretty well at that. Is it better than doing it just in ZZ? It's a toss up. It saves you some typing for sure, but you can integrate that right now to the clipboard with ZZ. So it does do some pretty neat stuff, but the inaccuracies are the hallucinations, I call them. I just don't understand where that's coming from. We'd like to learn more about it.
And I gotta like take a step back here. For when I started looking about AI, there's like 3 buckets that I've learned from. And this ties to what you're saying. You think, you see, and you move, right? Thinks ChatGPT, sees vision, moves robotics to ultimate world. And I just find it fascinating. We're nailing the first step with like document crunch and ChatGPT. It's just phenomenal. Interpret specs, can read so well. But like the C piece is like where I'm like, okay, how can we read construction plans better? I mean, I literally just pasted this. Probably can't see it, but it's like a washer picture with an error code. I pasted it into ChatGPT. And it gave me the answer and how to fix it. I didn't even say a question or anything. I'm like, wow, this is getting better. I'm like, okay, Heber, how are you incorporating vision in into 2D PDFs is my question.
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of additions coming, and I know I've spent a lot of what I've said so far in the cautionary mode, but I think that as it grows, there's going to be a lot of insights that we can bring to the estimator. Obviously, auto counting things, a lot of our competitors already have that. Summarizing data, searching, auto-generating assemblies, auto-generating formulas. Um, I think the key is really having it process the data, having it present it to you, but letting you have the final say with what goes on with that. Um, there, there's long term, currently we're doing 2D plans. Long term, all this is going to be 3D. I mean, the whole term BIM, Building Information Modeling, clear back in 2007, 2008, 2009, is going crazy. And everyone's like, oh, do you do BIM? If you don't do BIM, we don't want to work with you. We don't want to integrate with you. And it's just a bunch of hype. And here we are, almost 20 years later, and it's not a reality yet. And so, we had potential partnerships that temporarily fell apart because we didn't do BIM. And it's like, who the heck even knows what BIM is back in those days? And those same partners came back, asking us, "Oh, we got a lot of customers that want us to integrate with you guys. Can we integrate now?" So a lot of this, a lot of it is like filtering through the buzz versus the reality. And I think near term, just really honing in on being a catalyst for the estimator is really where we're focusing, helping the estimator find things, helping the estimator surface things, helping the estimator have insights. Oh, by the way, this, by the way, that. Um, I know that's kind of generalized, but that's really for the next for you know for the next little while. That's really where we're focusing.
Yeah, I think Stuart hit the nail on the head when he's talking about actually AI be able to read that document and see that that engineer has a note on that wall that those studs need to be at 24 inches on center versus 16 inches on center, and then that the AI can interpret that note and calculate those studs accordingly. But when I was in college in the early 80s, I had a CAD professor, told him I wanted to be an estimator, and he told me I was out of my mind because they were going to be able to do drawings in CAD and 100% have the entire takeoffs. And that was back in the early 80s. We're not talking about early 2000, it was early 80s
Wow.
when that was told to me that they were going to model with BIM and get the takeoffs right then and there. So,
I was
but
in landscape architecture and we were using pencils, I can't even use a pencil anymore. So yeah, I hit it at the wrong time.
But I think that's where AI is. What is AI to everybody here? Is it being able to understand a square foot of a slab and where the limits of those lines, and it can interpret that's a construction line or that's a dimension line? Is that where AI really needs to be so it can calculate the square footage of that area quickly? Or is it AI telling us that this house has 320 studs and it knows that we've got this much waste and this is how we build a wall and this is how we frame our corners? That's the thing, right?
Yeah, it'll be probably a graduation process through that. Like at first,
Right.
just clicking on a room and having it find the edges or having it auto detect walls, having it tell you what needs to go into your takeoff. But in the end, it should be pulling 3D models and automatically extracting data. There's a lot of complexity with that because of all the different sources of that data as well. But I think like you can feed all your data into AI and it can give you back an answer. But I almost think that using AI to help develop our processes and help us develop the code that is predictable and reliable would probably be a better near-term approach. I'll give a simple example. We do takeoff on the front end of the plan. We have a reporting tab. It's got a bunch of data in that. You could ask AI to generate a report, but and it could generate it on the fly, I'm sure. But because it behaves a little differently every time you ask it a question, it's not going to be consistent. So it'd almost be better to use that AI to help you generate the code to build a report the way you like it and then reuse that code over and over again so that it's predictable and reliable and it's not changing every time you use it. So I think just how we approach it, being selective in how we approach it for now is probably the real ticket.
Training and context are going to be key to it, right? Hebrew uses the word context a lot. Like we have to provide the framework and the context for the AI to operate in. We had a customer, a quick story here. We had a customer who missed something on a bid. There was something on the architectural plans that wasn't on the structural plans, so he didn't catch it. And it was like a $150,000 mistake. They missed the bid. And I said, oh, here, check this out. We'll have AI do this real quick and compare the two and it'll catch it, I'll bet. So I feed just the pages that one detail was on, hoping that it would instantly catch it. The difference between the architectural and the structural, it should have caught it, and it missed it completely. And it found things that weren't incompatible. It found issues that weren't actually issues. And that's when I started going like, where is this? Why is it getting bad information? That's my big concern with it, is why can you not trust the information? Like, how is it hallucinating information into the plans? Like, and it missed the mistake that a human estimator missed as well. So I thought that would resolve his solution real quick. And then we started thinking like, maybe we can use this as an analyzer or a backup to scan through the plans, read the text, compare the text between architecturals and civils. And I'm really trying to make this work on my side. This is a hobby of mine. I enjoy doing it. I'm experimenting with AI and construction drawings. It's just the more I do it, the more time I find I'm like not getting more excited. And maybe we just got to train it. Maybe that's the whole thing. There's got to be a way to do this. It's just like the closer I look into it, the more disappointed I become. And I know I don't want that to be the result. I want this to work. I want this to save people time, and I want it to analyze the plans and be a backup to estimators. I want them to have like a safeguard so that a customer doesn't miss something like that again. But yeah, it's just so far, it just doesn't seem like it's there yet. If you Google it, AI is telling you that it can do complete takeoffs for you. So where that information is coming from is concerning to me. But
one of the challenges that we have, we use it for our code, but when you got hundreds of thousands of lines of code, the more code you feed into the AI, the dumber it seems to get, because it's trying to wrap its head around all this information. And I'm sure this will be corrected in time once they have bigger AI model contexts available. But, if you can only feed in 5% of your code or 10% of your code, the problem is that how can that interface when it gives us a piece of code back and says, hey, here's some code to do this thing? That code doesn't interface with the other 95% of the code. And so it's really not that useful. And I feel like it's probably the same way with plans. Like when the AI models get to be like 3, 4, 5, 10 times as big of context as they have now and still be smart, I think that the usability will be exponential, like 100 times as useful.
For sure.
And what's difficult is it's not just a matter of a context. It's RAG has limitations right now, but I want to say I called this out a while ago. A lot of my friends are software engineers hailing from Stanford, majoring in CS and AI, and the fundraising that's going on in other industries around bringing in talent, software talent, enables breakthrough discoveries. And if you look at like even open source sets of data sets, construction has relatively zero publicly available data, like meaningfully impactful data sets that we can use to build with. But you go to other industries, and it's like you go on GitHub, which is a popular online data repository. You can scroll for 100 pages and find valuable data there to help train models and build agents. And I think I don't want to pin this back on VCs, but I think if you look at the line graph, we're seeing a lot more funding coming into this industry, which is giving people the opportunity to experiment, right? To experiment with, just like Suffolk works with groups to develop estimating technologies, and big GCs take these upstarts under their wing to help develop this technology. That's what this industry needs more of, is more involvement from the big players, more patience, strategic relationships and collaboration to give these upstarts, technical engineering upstarts, the ability to roll their sleeves up and not do the ChatGPT wrapper approach. Really go deep into the data sets and create models that work, because technically it's all there and in one place. And I think that's the next big challenge in this industry, is how are we going to shore up that kind of technical expertise on the software and AI side?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's coming for sure. It's coming for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of money being poured into it. A lot of big construction companies. I think Turner was another one that just had like, don't quote me because I got this number from AI, but it was like $50 million grant from Turner Construction or something. Again, don't quote me on that. But it was an AI thing. I did a competitive analysis and it came back and said Turner was giving out 50 million in grants or something. So, and I wonder if that's skewing a lot of this information. I mean, the investment in tech is awesome. We're all about that. I just wonder if so many people are just creating things on like Lovable or Base 44 is like a really great looking program to start out with. But then when you get into the weeds of it, it's like, oh, it demos really well, but in practice, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I'm determined I'd love to make this work, and absolutely it's going to work. We're going to get it there someday. I think everything we're putting in the software right now is like, if it doesn't give the estimator more confidence, then we're not likely to put it in. If it does give them more confidence and it helps them estimate their jobs more confidently, then obviously we're going to put
Derek,
it in.
I want these buildings, the first building built on the moon, to be the takeoff is done in ZZ and the bid leveling is done in Consite. I think that should be a goal of cooperation for our
There
companies.
we
Okay,
go.
wouldn't that be
Bid
amazing?
leveling's a different thing.
And
Bid
built by
leveling
Hensel Phelps.
Yeah, built by Hensel
There we
Phelps.
go.
yeah, bid
Now we're
leveling's a
talking.
totally
Oh,
different
Carl,
thing.
you
This
got Carl's
bid
got to
leveling
do
company
all the siding and everything too. So yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Stuart,
Who's going to
I
be the
got
grading contractor?
Stuart, I gotta give you some crap. Like I've done a ton of bid leveling tool demos before, and I keep asking,
Yep.
hey, I just want the PDFs in the tool, and then I want to be able to mark it up. And then I'm like, hey, Heber, you have a cool markup tool. Why don't you guys integrate so we can have markup PDF in your tool? Hint, hint.
Let's do it. Let's
Yeah,
do
bid
it.
analysis is a totally different thing. That's probably great at that. I mean, AI is awesome at certain things. Creating outlines, bid analysis, it's got to be awesome in that. Crunching data, it's just the drawing information, extracting it from a plan I haven't had a whole lot of luck with it, which is weird
Right.
because these are intelligent plans when you get them. They're created in 3D. We should know all. A takeoff really shouldn't be necessary, right? When it's created in CAD, you know all the material that goes into this building. So then they flatten it, turn it into like a flat world kind of thing, strip the intelligence out of it, and then the takeoff guys have to go put the information back into it to make it do a takeoff to get your quantities. So, yeah.
Well, I think that there's like I have a very deep respect for Kyle. I think there's like a few godfathers right now that are being created within this new category of AI software. I can name a few: Kyle Bond, Mike Grubb, Henny Van Niekerk with Alston Construction, and these are some people who are just putting out, like Kyle specifically, so much value into the startup space, offering their insights and experiences. And that's really what I was talking about, is kind of, I don't want to say coddling, but definitely exploring partnerships. But I don't think anyone thinks about pre-con like Kyle does. Again, Kyle, I follow you online. I see everything that you talk about, but there's very few people like that. And if we could duplicate Kyle and make 10,000 of him, I think it would just be a totally different construction landscape. Like the level of thinking coming out of Hensel Phelps right now is mind blowing, and I think that's going to put you guys definitely a couple laps ahead of the competitors. But it's again, it really comes down to who's going to partner up with the AI company and give them the time to develop the deep expertise to give a technological edge. We're working with some subcontractors too. We have a couple different divisions at Consite. Our primary focus is AI bid leveling for GCs on the enterprise scale, using hundreds of bids and getting you reliable bid tabs for comparison purposes. But then there's also subcontractors that have reached out wanting to build specific like workflow platforms, a bit more straightforward on the subcontractor side. Obviously the requirements aren't as massive like a GC, but anyways, Kyle, I just want to celebrate you and everything that you've done. I mean, definitely driving this thing forward big time.
I definitely appreciate it. I mean, this actually came up on our pre-con. We have a pre-con technology GC roundtable that I'm part of. And the thing that's kind of everybody pointed out is we're stuck duct taping tools together as GCs. Like, why is this our problem? We need your guys' help. You guys got to partner. Let's work together. Let's, interoperability. Let's get AI working for all of us so we can connect and collaborate. I'm like, hey, why don't you guys go talk to this guy so we can all integrate? And hey, you're in the web. Let's go.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm surprised you're not wearing your spandex today, Kyle.
No, not in a couple weeks.
Uh, no, I want to add, I think I've probably bashed AI a little too much in my comments. I will say there is no doubt that AI is the future and that it will be incredibly more intelligent than it is now as we go forward, and we will be embracing it every step of the way. And there's a lot of things we can add with it, and I'm excited for it. Just trying to, in today's world, for the next foreseeable, I shouldn't say next foreseeable, in the near term, we have to really let the rubber hit the road, with what it is capable of now, with constant innovation, pushing forward for what we can make with it. So,
All right.
And well, I gotta throw a quick note from what Tom when you open it up. I mean, AI is cool. It's like some of these companies they say, "Hey, look at the magic button can do it all for me." Like, no, estimators don't trust that stuff. You got to go slow with us, move at incremental steps, get the baseline. Here's how we do it now. Here's how I do it there. Layer AI on top of it. That's what we need. Like that workflow. No button.
Yeah.
I don't like.
Yep.
yep.
Less clicks, less magic buttons. Yeah, definitely. It's a combination of somehow making it less clicks, but also not just one magic button, is something in between, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Had that conversation with Carl today. Um, what is your workflow? We need to figure out how he does business and not tell him how to do business, or not show him that magic button that is not going to do everything, but tell him it is just to make him happy. I think that everything here, I mean, if you could put everybody's experience and their knowledge and everything else into one big blob, we would probably have the most awesome estimating platform AI group of people you can ever imagine. So congratulations, you guys. It's so impressive. I'm an old school estimator. We use wheels and counters at first and kind of went through the ages. And just to hear your stories and to see the intelligence level of what you guys are doing, it just honestly blows me away. I still think Heber's a Martian or from outer space or something like that.
No.
And maybe that's his home behind you, Stuart. I'm not sure. But
It's got the front lot right there with the view.
so, so
Stuart, you're supposed to
blessed.
keep it
So
low
blessed.
key.
So, anyways, unless you guys have anything else, we'll just say thank you and goodbyes. And unless any closing comments that you would like to throw in.
I think just to reiterate, AI, like Heber mentioned, is the future. We got to use it where it is useful, and then implement it in steps, like Kyle mentioned, and go from there. Just to be clear, we're not anti-AI.
No.
We're embracing it. But it's got to be correct. It's got to be helpful to the user. It's got to be accurate. So,
To be honest.
Right. And there's so many like small opportunities to use AI. Like we have a function where every time you upload a bid, we have an agent that scans the bid and updates your CRM, so your sub list. I mean, that's like an incredible innovation. Most people like don't ever, I mean, people change jobs all the time and those sub lists become so stale and out of date. So there's just like so many micro opportunities within like a big platform to use AI. It's just incredible. Not even just like have it read the plans, but within plan reading platform, like what are some small things that make meaningful differences? As an example, with Consite, it's all about cost codes and what have you. Most people have their own list of customized cost codes, and they don't, maybe a company 10 years ago would have charged you like 10 grand as like a setup fee to get all those cost codes in the platform. But, we made an uploader that drag and drop your own custom set of cost codes, and, our agent will, pull that list and populate it within your platform. So I think like that's really remarkable. I think the last thing I actually wanted to ask everyone here, I think one of the bigger AI pre-con companies, like really raising money, making a splash right now, is Trunk Tools. But I feel like I've talked to just about everyone in the industry, and I can't seem to find a group that's used Trunk Tools. And I wanted to ask Heber because it is that more general purpose chat GPT for construction. That's how they're advertising it. Maybe it's more focused on like the construction side, not pre-construction side, but just wanted to see, does anyone have any experience with that? Because that's definitely like the biggest name right now in AI for construction.
I have not heard much about it, so I'll dig more into it. Thanks for putting it on the radar. So
Yeah, I've dabbled, I've heard about it and seen it. I just saw a post today on it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's more for construction, not for pre-construction.
There you go. That's
Kind
probably
of
what's going
more,
on there.
it's more like structured. It's construction. Pre-construction goes like this. We need a lot more help.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think so many people have built for project management. So it's very exciting to see like a whole new crop of startups like focusing on pre-construction and estimators because I feel like the PMs just have always gotten all the new technologies. So it's so cool to finally like lift up estimators and give them like a second growth engine, something to get excited about.
One,
Yeah,
Thank you.
exactly.
Thank you.
Snaps, yeah.
Thank you. Stuart. All right. Well, guys, wow. Thank you so much. I don't even know how to explain how awesome this was just to sit here and be a fly on the wall. Thank you again, Stuart, Kyle, Carl, everybody. Thank you so much. All right. I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting and say goodbye. Take care, you guys.
Thank you.
thanks, guys.
All right.
Look forward to
Thank
the
you,
next one.
everyone. Good
Thank
chatting.
you.
We'll
Bye.
see you.